episode, go fuck yourself. Welcome to Touch and Tips. I don't know what number we're on anymore. Figure it out later.
I think we're on, 26, maybe? 27?
I don't know. I think the last couple of times I've been wrong. I've been opening the show with the wrong fucking number. So
Oh, fuck you.
Yeah.
We didn't graduate fucking college for a reason.
all 60 of our subscribers that aren't me and you.
You'll just have to follow from now on, you fucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's funny that you just brought up Secret of the Ooze because I love my Ninja Turtles.
You do.
And Vanilla Ice. But I just added that recently to my list of like good cocktail names that I haven't used yet.
What's Secret of the Ooze?
Yeah. Yeah,
All
like
right.
if you put the right combination of like Maduri and blue curacao.
Yeah, you get that purple. Yeah.
No, it's not purple. It's like a bright green, like bluish green.
Okay, I was thinking more like the Shredder kind of like vibe.
Nah, man, I think the Secret of the Ooze is green, bro.
Yeah, but
Isn't
like
it green?
Shredder himself though is like purple, like you know,
Yeah.
it's secondary color. You know.
Oh man, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Shredder's a good villain though.
Shredder's a fucking great villain.
He tries.
Yeah.
I don't like the older. I feel like I used to really love Cobra Commander, and then like the more I look back on him, I'm like he's a fucking loser.
He is a fucking
He
loser.
fucking ruins everything.
Yep. Can't get out of his own way.
Yeah, like Cobra Commander's like my boy that I still carry all that hatred for that you work with. Like every time I watch it, I'm like, that's him.
Yeah.
I like your take on like I've always been much more of a Destro guy. I'm like, yeah, the arms dealer, that's way cooler.
It is way cooler. Yeah.
Or like the Bionic Man. You know about Serpentor?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Serpentor. Yeah. Who were the fucking twins who like the bad guy twins who when you like punched one of them the other one felt it?
Tomax and Zammot.
Yeah, damn dude, you go deep on this
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I had, like I said, my mom worked at Hasbro, so I
Yeah.
feel like I had like a bunch of shit. Like
We like had like all the fucking guys, but we would like lose the fucking box and then just call them whatever we felt like fucking calling them.
yeah,
And I also feel like we like just liked the way that like B characters looked and then thrust them into like the A lineup, you know? Like I bet you we had like a bunch of dudes who were just like generic like, fucking ice naval base fucking soldier A, and we turned that dude into like the absolute man.
yeah. He
you know?
had like a whole backstory.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
You made up.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the knockoff GI Joes.
Yeah.
Like there's a bunch of different ones.
They had like the Street Fighter ones. I remember those. Like
Yeah, but I'm not even talking like those were like licensed merchandise. I'm
Yeah.
talking about like the dollar store. Like, you know what I mean? They look like GI Joes, but they
Right.
were made by some other company.
Yeah.
Obviously, they were cheaper.
Yeah.
But I don't know, you'd get those for Christmas every now and then from like an aunt that wasn't like tuned in.
Yeah.
You know, and you're like, I don't fucking know what this guy is, but I got
Fuck
him.
him. Yeah.
So yeah.
That was in the mix.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I had a good time. I had a good time with the toys.
Yeah.
We talked about my boy Dan Soder with the wrestling
Yeah.
match, smoking cigarettes.
butts.
I didn't have
Yeah.
as much fun as that, but
Yeah. Yeah. So what's been bothering you at work lately? Anything? You just living the dream over there.
I mean, it is pretty dreamy, but I don't know. It's just like the psychopaths that you deal with. I think. Like
Yeah.
I had this lady. She asked me if she could get American cheese. I'm like, I don't see why you can't have American cheese in your eggs. No
Yeah.
problem. So I bring it out to her, and she's like, "This isn't American cheese." So I look at it, and I got to be honest, it did get the best of me because it was yellow. So I was like, "Oh, she put the cheddar in it by mistake." So I bring it back, and just the I don't know how to describe this to get everybody to laugh at it or see the horror that it is. But I'm going back to like two people from the third world and being like, this bitch don't like the color that her cheese is.
Yeah.
Because what her problem was, she wanted white American. Like the yellow sliced American that we had
Right. Yeah.
was not good enough for her.
Yeah.
And so I just like I said, it got me at first because I
Right.
didn't know that we had yellow American. I thought it was white American. But you run out of shit all the time. You get
Whatever's back
the
there.
second option of
Yeah.
what Cisco has a lot. You know what I mean? Like you'll have like an order and then you'll have like the backup to it.
Yeah.
So you get that a lot. So it's like, all right, we got fucking yellow American cheese.
We're
deal
gonna
with it.
work with it. Yeah.
This lady just couldn't handle it. She had to have white American cheese. And I was just like, so, and then it wasn't even like, okay, well, let me get something different. It was like, I'm not even going to eat it all anymore. So then I had to take the plate back and be like, if you need to use it for like another, you know what I mean? She didn't touch it. Like,
Yeah.
It's like, or if anybody wants to eat this. And the lady's just looking at me like, why? And I'm like, it's not white. She's like, what the fuck? Like,
If it's not white, it's not right.
yeah. And they're all still like, I don't know what it is about the kitchen workers and shit from other countries, but they still love the mass. So she's got a mask on.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know if she's been dealing with being sick or whatever. So all I can see is just like the disappointment
In her eyes.
in her immigrant eyes.
Yeah.
Just being like,
yeah.
I don't know. I couldn't believe it. It wasn't even like, okay, let me get like a fruit and yogurt bowl or something. Instead, it was just like, I don't even want to eat anything because you don't have
You've
white.
upset me with your
white
fucking
cheese.
yellow American cheese.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, whatever. She's going to die someday, so who gives a shit?
Nice.
Yeah. What a fucking ungrateful bitch, though. Like, for real. Like,
Yeah.
you can't stomach the idea of eating, like, first of all, they're both the same fucking thing. It's just one's yellow and the other one's white. Like, it's just literally, it's a fucking difference of fucking food coloring, you know? It's like, both of these are plastic-ass cheeses. Just
You
fucking
think
eat it.
these are real? You think we got
Yeah.
real cheese anyway? This isn't fucking. This is just microplastic. In disguise.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just complaining about which fucking forever chemical you're going to fucking eat.
Yeah. This is the cheapest option. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's how you get into like the airport. You provide the cheapest option that you can. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
I don't know. The food's actually pretty good. You know, like if you ate it, the burger's pretty good. Chicken sandwich is pretty good. The grilled cheese kind of skimpy. You know what I mean? Not enough stuff in there.
Not enough yellow cheese.
No.
Yeah.
Or bacon. But I don't know. And then I had this other lady. She got all fucking mad at me. But it's like I went over to the table and asked how things were doing. This is at the other spot that I work at.
Yep.
And she got like the thing that everybody goes there for. It's like a steak sandwich. You dress it up however you want. She got it like, and this is another thing that she did that makes me want to kill people. She ordered her steak medium well to like well done. What the fuck do you want me to write? You know, I feel like that's like the biggest in between in the whole system.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Medium rare to medium, medium to medium well. You can't fucking tell the difference between that shit.
No.
But medium well to well done, like that's like either you want pink or you fucking don't.
Yeah.
Like that's the
There's
biggest,
no such thing as medium well plus.
that's like the biggest in-betweener that I can possibly think of, especially if you say medium well to well. Like what the fuck do you want? So it comes out, and dude, how do you want these guys to like fucking tempt a million different steak sandwiches coming all out at once? Like it should just be like, we don't do a doneness. They come out however they like. And if you need to put it in the microwave, then that's on you.
Yeah.
Like, don't order a steak sandwich if you want a fucking hockey puck, you know? So I go over to the table. I check in multiple times. Hey, guys, how we doing? You know what I mean? Doesn't say anything. And then towards, like, the end of the meal, she's like, I ordered this. Well done, all fucking mad. She's like, it's chewy, it's not cooked enough, and I'm like looking at it. I'm like, that looks like a pretty fucking fire sandwich to me. You know what I mean? If you weren't such a fucking cunt, I'd probably eat that. Probably eat that off your plate, but I don't want to get fucking.
That's what you should have done. You should have just picked it up, taken a big bite out of it, and like, tastes fine to me.
That, Brennan, I wish. I fucking wish. And I feel like that's the kind of place where you could have got away with it too. You know what I mean? Because the owner was like cool enough.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Probably would have laughed about it afterwards.
I think he would have, yeah. Because he's kind of coming into it. He's coming into a situation where like he just bought his brothers out.
Yeah.
And really, like, I love these guys, but they got no fucking business owning a restaurant. It's not like they're like bartenders and servers. Like he's from like a construction background.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I guess I don't know. The guy died young in life. The first guy that had opened it. You know, that fought for like the liquor license and all that. I think he actually met like he started dating like a dangerous young woman.
Oh.
And he just fucking drank, drugged, and argued and stroked himself to death or whatever. You know what I mean? So he died. They take over, and now it's just like too many chiefs, not enough Indians. It's a bunch of brothers. You know what I mean? The place operated well enough because it's like that they let the inmates run the asylum anyway. There's no manager. You know, it's just bartenders and servers like doing what's best for them. And a lot of times what's best for the front of the house is making the place operate smoothly. So, you know, like.
I was going to say, you'd be surprised how far you can get just by kind of letting go of the reins like that.
Yeah, and I feel like whatever you kind of want to nitpick about, like, oh, they could be making more money here and there. It's like, well, is all that nitpicking going to equate to like $75,000 to $100,000 to make a GM happy to spend all the time fixing all this? Probably not. You know what I mean? So just fucking run.
And then all that really does is make you reliant on that person. So that way, when they finally do, because what GMs typically do is they go in there all gung-ho the first 4 or 5 months, and then after 4 or 5 months of doing that, they... You know, that's when the coke problem, like, all of a sudden creeps up. Or that's when, like, the dude's, like, wife at home, like, starts fucking causing trouble and shit. And it's just, like, before long, the guy just becomes more of a fucking headache than he's worth anyway, you know? And then once he then goes, now all of a sudden you're in a position where it's like, fuck, we were used to somebody doing all of this shit. Now we don't have that, you know?
Yeah.
It's almost better to just get used to not having that person, you know?
Yep. And, I mean, that's what they do. You know what I mean? So I feel like I totally... He he would have called me and been like, Ryan, did you take a bite out of this lady's sandwich? And I could have been like, yeah, but she like,
oh yeah, word. Yeah.
she deserved it, and it was great. And I don't think anybody's going to complain again because we've now set a standard. And I think he would just laugh about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you eat her sandwich? Yeah, it was fucking hilarious. You should have been there.
Yeah. Whereas, like in contrast, like the one time where I did cross the line a little bit, kicking a guest out at the place that we used to work at together.
Yeah.
I did like at the end, like the kid got like across the street, and I did fucking like
knock his food out.
Yeah,
of
I book dumped all his shit out,
Yeah.
and when the president called me the next day, she's like, and one more thing, when did you knock all the stuff out of his hands? And I had to be like, nah, I didn't do that.
Only a fucking asshole would do that.
I feel like we were like right on the border of like, she was right on the border knowing me well enough to where it wouldn't even be it's like, of course Ryan did that.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that and also it's a very specific thing to accuse somebody of, you know? It's like, so this guy just made this up? That's what you're saying? Like, he just made up that you just dumped his food out in the middle of the street?
Well, I didn't dump it out. He was like talking with his hands, and he had his takeout bag. I just fucking not. And then he like looked down at it, and I fucking booted.
Yeah, you fucking middle school hallwayed him.
Yeah. His fucking binder definitely, the rings were. Remember that? You got a book dump, and your binder rings are all fucked up. Yeah. It was brutal.
Yep. But that notebook never opened right again.
Dude. I don't know if I've told this story before, but it just made me think about this, and also how disappointed I was to tell my Nana and get such a little reaction out of it. But stop me if I'm repeating myself. But one time we went to a movie as a reward for the class having like such good attendance all year.
Yeah.
And my friends, I think it was just me and one of my friends, we imported all kinds of trash into the movie theater. So when they put like the lights out, like, we made all these paper balls and fucking, we just started throwing shit everywhere. And then the next day, the principal came on the speaker and was like, I'm so disappointed about the mess that you guys left in this movie theater.
Yeah.
And then like a bunch of like goody two-shoes went and cleaned the movie theater for a day. You know what I mean? To like learn the lesson about leaving the mess that like me and my boy made.
Well, what lesson did they learn? That they share the world with a bunch of fucking animals?
Group projects are bullshit. Yeah, like you should have fucking killed me when you had the chance.
This is why Ryan can't be invited to things like this.
Yeah. What about I used to do this other thing in high school with my friends where we would steal the pins out of the fire extinguishers.
So you just putting the lives of everybody in jeopardy?
I don't know if it's just like the thing, like it's the pin.
Yeah. Well, I would imagine they just kind of slowly like leak out their.
No, it's just like the safety mechanism. So you can't, it's the pin before you squeeze the handle. You can't squeeze the handle without the
taking it out. Yeah, that's true.
But I was just like indoctrinated into this by like an upperclassman that was like, I saw him do it. And I was like, oh, that looks great. Stealing, vandalism for no reason.
Oh, I'm into that.
So yeah, so I just at one point I had like a fucking like a dog tag chain. I probably had like every one of them in the school. You know what I mean? And then one time I thought I was busted big time. Right? I'm like in this building. I'm not even supposed to be in it. I feel like it's like an administrative building or something. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, I've never checked this one out. So I go in there, and all the fire extinguishers are in like plastic boxes. You know what I mean? So you got to take
you have to like put in some work.
I'm also sure there's like a shitty little like zip tie on the top of the box. You know what I mean? Like the front comes off, but there's like a hole with like a zip tie that goes through the main thing. So you got to break that, which is pretty easy. Like it's not like it's weaker than a normal zip tie.
Okay.
There's no heroism.
Well, yeah, because otherwise, what the fuck? You're not going to be able to get the guy. You're going to be fucking pulling the thing off. Everyone's burning alive. Yeah.
So I got the cover off. And this lady comes out of the office, and I'm like, oh, fuck. And she's, like, looking right at me. Of course, like, why do you got the fucking cover of the fire extinguisher off? And she just looks at me, and I just look at it, and she goes, was that off? And I go, yeah, I was just having a shortcut through here, and this was just laying on the ground. And she just put it back on, and she's like, all right, no problem.
Yeah.
And I was like...
So I'm kind of a hero, you know?
No, not really, but I feel like there had to be some kind of memo of like, there's kids stealing the pins out of the fire.
Some assholes going around taking all of the pins.
We got to find them, you know, because I'm sure, and this is like the same way that I probably got caught doing drugs at TGI Fridays to bring it back to some restaurant stuff, right?
Gotcha.
Like you steal the pin, the adrenaline's rushing. I don't think you put the cover back on the damn thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
so you're saying like a bunch of the times you were just leaving the cover next to it?
I don't know about a bunch of the times, but definitely at least a few. Maybe there are a few close calls you didn't have a chance to put it back on.
Yeah.
So I'm sure like somebody comes around and is like, this is off. I don't know. Maybe they weren't smart enough to know that there was a pin for people to be stealing for no reason.
Well, to go back to my conspiracy theory, like theory, basically. It's just, I bet you a lot of people saw it, just put it back, and were just like, oh, I don't know, somebody must be just be fucking with these things.
Yeah,
like
they didn't know about the pin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think people are dumb for the most part.
Well, I
Like,
thought people were dumb, right? I used
Yeah.
to use a server book to like snort like pain pills
Yeah.
at TGI
Or,
Fridays.
like crush it up like
yeah,
that.
yeah, between like $1 with all kind of germs on it
Yeah.
and stuff. You
Oh,
know what I
yeah.
mean? Then I would use that germ-ridden dollar to snort it.
Yep.
And then I would just leave the book in the bathroom. Like I would just leave the drug powder book.
Yep.
I think it just came from working at that place Landry's, where like we all did drugs with like the managers and stuff all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So there was a level
then-
of like, who gives a shit?
Yeah. And then I come to like suburban TGI Fridays in North Attleboro, and there's like moms that are like, "What is this?
Yeah.
What's happening to our store?" And then I guess they had like a pre-shift about it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't working that day. And the girl that I was dating came home and she's like, "I know it's you." Like she fucking, like, you know what I mean? I was like, and I had to play dumb because I was like doing drugs behind her back.
Right.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And even then, I was still like, I can't be got.
Come on. Bulletproof.
Can't be got.
There
Been
you go.
stealing fucking fire extinguisher pins since the fucking 9th grade, kid.
Well, you're untouchable.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. You made a good run of it though.
Yeah. You know what I have been, I feel like taking my life in my hands though, is like angrily driving my new crap box Honda.
Why are you angrily driving?
I don't know. I gotta calm down. I instituted the car bong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I felt the first time I did the car bong, I was like, this is like halfway through my drive. I was like, dude, this is great. I'm just chilling. I don't even care about how stupid people are driving around me. It's all good. And then like maybe 25% of the way left home, it wore off.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, I gotta smoke more dope before I leave the parking spot. You know what I mean? I didn't do enough.
Yeah.
But I took like an entire, like I ripped like a bong with like keef on it.
Yeah.
Like that's an impressive, you know what I mean? One and done for like not smoking dope for like 8 hours.
Yeah. I mean, here's a thought though. Like instead of like just like continuously rubbing more pot smoke on top of the problem, why don't you try
Address
and
it?
figure out what that anger is? Maybe
Yeah.
talk to somebody about that.
I think honestly, I
Yeah.
think it's a terrible combination to like deal with the amount of idiots that the airport is filled with and then
Yeah.
drive home amongst a herd of idiots.
of idiots.
Yeah.
Well, you're making
Like
me.
generally I work on my issues. Like I'll address things, you know what I mean? Like I've quit doing a bunch of drugs and drinking. I've tried to become a better person,
Yeah.
you know, but I don't know what it is. Just when I honestly, it's gotten worse since I've left the car culture.
Okay.
Because when I've always had a fast car. So if somebody's just being a fucking idiot, I
You
can just like,
zip by him.
yeah, no problem. Now I got to like plan things. I'm like, bro, I got to plan for these fucking regular brakes on this 20 fucking 10 Accord or whatever the fuck 2010 Accord.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's got a fucking 4-cylinder in it. It's got a shoddy transmission. Like I just, basically, the auto body shop that decided my truck should be totaled, they had like a car for a car for sale.
Yeah.
And it was nice enough for like $2,500. I was like, dude, the interior is nice. It doesn't stink.
Yeah,
It
fuck
runs
it.
and drives.
If it lasts you for 6 months, you got your money's worth.
Even if it lasted me, because at the time I was driving a rental around for like $260 a week.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good for a rental, to be honest with you. I definitely
That's
got,
still a lot of money.
I definitely got some kind of friends and
transportation.
family price. But it's $1,000 car payment a month when you break it down, you know, plus still paying my insurance and stuff. So yeah, I looked at it like, okay, this $2,500 car, if I drive it for 2.5 months, it's basically just getting me out of paying for a rental while I look for a better car.
Yeah.
But in that time, I've been like, I'm done with the nice cars. Like, it's just a depreciating asset. I don't have a nice garage to drive it into. The fucking winter kills them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I don't want to do it anymore. I don't work on them. Like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
What am I doing? It's just lighting money on fire and not doing it. Like, you know, I'm just going to focus my spending habits and more positive things like paying my wife's student debt off. And, you know, maybe I'll do that and then buy like a fucking dope ass car when we get like a better house
Yeah. There you
at
go.
some point. But I'm just done with the car culture. And I don't know, it's just driving like a car that takes forever to get up to speed. You're just like, bro, can you just get the fuck out of the way?
Yeah.
Like, do you know what it took to get to this nice cruising speed that we're at, and you're just being a fucking idiot in the left-hand lane.
You're buying some fucking
on your
dildos going
phone.
like 49 while merging into fucking other traffic.
Or like even like the asshole that thinks that they're like some fucking like extension of the police on the road. Like, I'm going 10 over. What the hell's this guy's problem? My problem is that's not how it fucking works.
Yeah.
You're supposed to get the fuck out of the left-hand lane if you're not in passing mode.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of the way.
If you're not passing another car, then you shouldn't be in the left lane.
Like I just don't get it. Like even in the early morning when I'm driving to work in the airport, you will not find me in that lane unless I'm fucking
moving around somebody.
Going around someone. Yeah. And it's just like I'm hoping that some Ferrari comes fucking cruising by me at $160.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just don't get it. I don't get fucking idiots. I hate them.
Well, the world's filled with them.
And it just even, if you want to get into the conspiracy thing, it's like, these are all the fucking idiots that went and voted. You think that the 1% power sheep herders of the world are listening to these 99% of fucking idiots that don't get out of the fast lane? Hell no.
No.
Hell no.
Hell no.
Hell no. Not banana bread. How you sounded like you're in recovery mode. We had to call the Turkey Day show off, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I had COVID last week.
Damn.
But, I didn't test myself. I don't give a fuck.
Is COVID just like the flu at this point, though?
Yeah, I don't know. It was fucking weird, though. The flu?
Can you believe it?
I don't know. It was fucking weird, though, because I didn't have, like, my throat hurt a little bit. Like, I had some congestion, but, like, my main symptom was just, dude, I was so fucking tired. I went to sleep. Because I fucking still went into work because everyone I work with is a bitch-ass motherfucker. But I still went into work because nobody, I don't know, somebody's dog had a runny dump and somebody else had a headache or something. But, so I fucking go into work and they're like, you can't be here. You're fucking really sick. I'm like, I'm very well aware that I shouldn't be here and I am very sick. So they sent me home and then I went home and I slept from like 4:30 until like 11 the next day. So what the fuck is that? Like 17 and a half hours I slept for straight. Wow. It was fucking nuts. But yeah, I don't know what the fuck that was. But I was fine for like Thanksgiving, which was cool because I fucking hate being sick on the holidays.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was able to do all that shit, but I was sick as fuck. And usually I'm pretty like fucking, I'll tolerate any shit like going to work sick wise. But when it comes to being tired, I just don't want to be fucking like that tired going to work. But, I'm used to it from years of not having anyone give a fuck about me. So I just have to work when I have to work, Although last week I was talking to somebody and, like the way we are right now, like you kind of forget how it is, like the pivotal moments of your life that kind of like shape you, and somebody had just kind of like offhandedly been like, hey, like at what point in time did you realize like, I don't want to do this shit anymore. Like enough is enough, like in terms of like doing drugs and like partying and shit. And I was like, you know what, actually? I had a buddy of mine who was like a fucking dirty hippie. And like when I was younger, it was like fun to hang out with him. We would just do drugs and shit like that. And I go to visit him during like a fucking, I don't know, maybe like my mid-20s or so. And I go to visit him at his place in Boston or whatever. And he's living in like this fucking, like, what I can only describe as like an abandoned apartment building with like five.
Like Fight Club style, bro?
Yeah, well, like a fucking, like a weird, like, urban like hippie commune. So it's him and like four other like gross hippie guys living in this like apartment that has like no running water, no electricity. Like it's like a fucking, they're basically like squatting in this place.
Can you remember the smell?
So I'm getting to that. So at this point, I like show up to this address and they like walk me through like, the fucking cut like back fence or whatever that you have to get into. And then like you have to like move like a fucking board aside to get into the back door. And I'm like, all right, man. Like at this point, I'm like, I'm going to a show and I just need a place to crash. So as long as you can fucking give me a place to crash, I'll be fine. And walking into this place, though, he's like giving me like the tour of the place, kind of being like, all right, well, you're going to be sleeping over there. And the whole time I'm like, this is the grossest fucking building I've ever been inside. And then he gets us to the bathroom and he goes, all right, so like we don't have any water. So if you have to, just piss or whatever down the drain, if you got to shit in the bathtub and then just waffle stomp it. And I'm like, excuse me? What am I doing with it? Waffle stomp. I was like, can you tell me what that means to you? Because I have an idea of what it means to me. What does that mean to you, though? And he's like, oh, well, you just, shit around the drain, and then you just, like, step on it until it like, goes down the drain. I'm like, you want me to mash my shit into the fucking drain of this dirty-ass bathtub? And it was at that moment where, like, literally, like, that second, I decided, I was like, not only am I not staying in this fucking place tonight, but I'm not getting fucked up today because I'm driving home after this show and I'm probably never talking to this dude again.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, you are too old to be taking shits in bathtubs and mashing them down the fucking drain with your fucking feet. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? So yeah, that was like a moment that I credit for being like, I think that was the moment where I turned on as an adult human being and was like, I'm going to go home now. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
But when the person I was describing the story to had no idea what waffle stomping was, God bless them. But I just thought it was hilarious how when I was describing like the waffle stomping to you, you immediately knew what it was. Like, yeah. How do you know what the fuck waffle stomping is?
Much like I'm trying to gather the information from my memory of what my breaking point with drugs was, like I'm trying to recall where I read about waffle stomping for the first time.
Gotcha.
But
all right, well, so it didn't have like quite a distinct memory for you.
I mean, to me, I've read about it on the internet.
Yeah,
I didn't come across a man
who had waffle stomped?
done it before.
Yeah.
Yes.
Man, it was a dark moment in my life. I was like, have you ever seen the movie Requiem for a Dream?
Yes.
Yeah. It was basically like that moment of my drug taking days where I was just like, this is insanity. Like, you guys have gone too far.
Yeah, I'm trying to I feel like I'm like, for better or worse, like I'm that guy in a lot of other people's stories.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they're like, dude, like
I hit rock bottom with Ryan Wilk.
Yeah, like I had to
You should have a fucking t-shirt made.
I had to get away from Wilkie. And you know what's funny? I've talked about my man's before. He's another I got off drugs and is a success story. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I think he might have dabbled a little closer to the devil than I got. But he you know, I had this incident. It's not really an incident. I saw him at Market Basket with my wife.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we crossed eyes. He was in line. I was leaving already, I think. So I see my man's at Market Basket, the old basket kid. And it's at this point where we haven't talked in a while. I just had like a break from him. I just couldn't deal with like the relationship anymore. You know what I mean? And he was
shenanigans.
Not even just shenanigans. Like he was on the bordering on the brink of being like a lunatic drug addict as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just felt like, dude, anytime I get together with this kid, it's like bad news. Like we're getting drugs or, you know what I mean?
It's
like
the perfect storm.
Yeah. So I just kind of, I left. I ghosted him essentially. You know what I mean? I was fucking not talking to this kid anymore. And you know, we used to get some money together too. So it was like, you know, just a clean break from everything. And you see him at Market Basket, and I just, you know, hey man, I just kept walking. You know what I mean? And I didn't want to stop. I think my lady and I had gotten married at that point, or maybe we were engaged, and I didn't want to figure out how to tell him like, yo, you're not coming to the wedding, or we didn't invite you to the wedding, or whatever it was. You know what I mean? And so I just depart, and you know, so we end up rehatching the friendship and stuff. We're great now. He got his shit together, and I honestly don't think we could have done it if we didn't take that break from each other. You know, like we were definitely like the Joe Perry, Steven Tyler, toxic twins to shit. So we get back together, we start talking, and it's all love and fun now. And he's like that time at Market Basket where you just kept walking. He's like, it took me like a long time to be able to process this. And he's like, I had the same situation with this guy, Dave. He's like, I just had to fucking stop hanging out with this kid. You know what I mean? And he's like, that might have been a turning point for me where he's like, damn, yo. Like,
I'm that guy.
I'm fucking Dave.
Yeah.
I'm this kid's Dave. Like, fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck. So anyway, I sent him this thing on Facebook the other day, or Instagram, whatever. It's some reel, right? It's a British couple. You don't know what's happening. Maybe you do as like a normal functioning person when you first start watching the video.
Yeah.
So it's a lady. I look at it. She's sitting at a table, and to me, I tune in. There are Perk 30s all over the table, and I don't know if you've ever seen a Perk 30 before.
Yeah.
It's like a little blue, like baby blue pill. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm like. Holy shit! This lady's got a bunch of Perk 30s. So I started watching the video, and I think it's like an example of like back in the day where you'd have all these doctors and all these prescriptions, and you'd be loading up. On pills. Like there's like a documentary about this. I forget what it's called. Like
illegal pills, or are you talking
no, like well, there's probably
like pill farms and shit like that. Is that
yes,
what you mean? Yeah.
Yes. Like, so that's what I think I'm watching. You know what I mean? I'm like, holy shit, this 50-year-old lady's got a bunch of fucking
rolling.
per
Yeah.
30s like a motherfucker. Each one of those pills like $30 on the street. You know what I mean? So I'm like, holy shit. And so she's like talking to her husband, and the video's caption is like the husband just can't take the disbelief off his face. And I'm like, yeah, I bet if I came home, my wife had fucking perk 30s all over the table. I'd be like, what the fuck is going on over here? So the video goes on and on and on. And eventually she's like, I just don't know why you would do this, da da da. And I'm like, oh, she's all drugged out arguing with the guy too.
Yeah.
They're not perk 30s. They're fucking like tablets that you put in the washing machine.
Okay.
Like beads.
Okay.
Like instead of like laundry detergent, there's like beads.
So some weird British shit.
I guess.
Yeah.
But that's what the guy. So this is like an example of a man going to the store and he put like two versions of the same. Like one of them's an unscented and the other one's got this.
Yeah.
And his face of disbelief is that he can't believe that his wife has now gone to separating these again.
Yeah.
He's like, the difference in fragrance is minimal. And like that's eventually, it's like a minute and 30 seconds into the video where he goes, the difference in fragrance. And I'm like, those aren't fucking drugs, dude. Those are fucking
It's laundry detergent.
That's laundry detergent, dude. Like, what the fuck? So I sent this to my boy and I'm like, how long did it take you? Right?
Yeah.
And he sends me back. He's like, how long did what take me? Like, you know what I mean? And I'm like, oh damn. Like, not at one point was he like, holy shit, look at this table full of drugs. And like that was
you have like some sort of like fucking like what is it, like Freudian like fucking shit where like all of a sudden your mouth starts salivating. You're like you could taste them.
Well, I don't know if I had a situation happen where my manager at XO went into the bathroom and he found like a cellophane of like perk 30s. And he's like, do you know what these are? And he put them in my hand. And I just felt like so sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
I was like, dude,
don't do that
this
again.
is like, like this like ruined my life. You know what I mean? Like I can't.
Right.
He thought that it was like some type of like hallucinogen or some shit.
Yeah.
I was like, nah, dude, that's like $400 worth of the best drugs.
Yeah.
Like, I should have been like, dude, snort one of those. Ruin your life.
Take a pump. They're good.
Yeah. No, because if you don't do fucking opiates and you snort, even if you snort like a 15, you'll be like throwing up and shit. You'll be like, this is the worst drug ever. Like,
yeah. Or you can fucking kill yourself that way. If your body's not fucking used to that shit.
that's how you die.
Yeah.
You go on that. It's always relapse binge, and you don't have the.
Yeah, it's always the people that are like, coming out of recovery that end up dying.
It would be me.
Yeah,
you know, it would be like, you know what I mean? I'd be like, oh fuck it, like I'm gonna bang a 30 again. It's like, well, you can't do that anymore, bro.
Your body ain't ready for that shit.
You have to have 5s and 10s for years before you work up to be this much of a disappointment. You just can't get your life together and go back.
You just can't just like jump back into the major leagues.
Yeah,
you know.
I don't know though, dude. I banged when I got my wisdom teeth out. I fucking snorted my drugs. I was like right back on.
Really?
Yeah.
How long ago?
What do you mean?
How long ago did you get your wisdom teeth pulled?
I don't know, like this year.
This year?
Yeah.
You were snorting fucking opiates this year?
Yeah. Well, they gave me like 2. They gave me like 10 milligrams. I'm like, wait, am I going to swallow these or am I going to let them actually work?
Oh, my God.
Fucking banged them up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hey, good. Well, whatever. At least they only gave you 2. My fucking wife had their fucking C-sections, dude. They gave her enough oxycodone to fucking kill like an entire village. Like, I was like, what the fuck are they trying to do? Like, she had like fucking like 3 fucking bottles, each one of my kids, like fucking filled with them. Like,
that's crazy.
I should have. I mean, if I were a piece of shit, I would have sold them, but I ended up just turning them into the cops because I was literally just like, I don't even want these in my fucking house.
Yeah.
You know, but like, yeah, the amount of fucking prescription meds that they give out to people are fucking crazy, you know?
I don't think they do that much anymore. Because even like
actually my youngest is 8, so it was probably like 8 years ago.
Like I had a complication with I had like a dry socket.
Yep.
And they refilled like everything for me, and I still only got 2 more.
Yeah. Yeah, so maybe they're finally being like responsible about it.
Yeah. I think so.
Wow, that's a change of pace for the pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah, like I remember back in the day, my boy got his tonsils out.
Yeah.
And dude, he got like a thing that like liquid hydrocodone or whatever the fuck it is. It looked like it was in like a mouthwash bottle. You know what I mean? Like there was that, and I just remember I had a waterbed at the time because I was that much of a tool bag, and I just remember like laying on my bed with my boy, like just drinking
it.
Yeah, just being like, dude, it's like you and him could have easily died in that waterbed if you had gotten too out of control. Like, yeah. And this is in the time too where like the Xanny bars are around and fucking we're drinking.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how I didn't die.
Yeah.
Like I am.
Well, I mean, a lot of people did.
Maybe this is why I feel like Touching Tips is going to be a hit, because it's like God kept me around for a reason, and I think it's to bless the world with Touching Tips.
Just to sit here and talk to people about waffle stomping.
Yes. Dude, I can't even imagine. And also, I'm glad you brought that back up, because I come from like all the men in my family like construction workers.
Yeah.
Right. Like if I'm in a situation like this, like how do you not line a 5-gallon bucket with a bag and just shit in that?
And throw it outside or something.
Like, and when you fill it up enough, you just fucking put the cap on and get rid of it, and you go get another one for like $7.
Yeah. Well, they were also on like the 4th floor of this apartment building, so I'm sure that played into a factor into it. People just not wanting to walk their asses down the stairs with shit. These are like the dirtiest of dirty hippies.
It's great. I feel like I got into Touching Tips being like, I've lived a life to talk about, and it will be so interesting to tell my story. And it's like, Brennan's like, oh yeah? Listen to this.
I don't know. You still have more.
I know a real man that's touched shit with his feet.
I'd say you still have the more interesting stories. Mine are just kind of like sad.
Bro, one time when I was in college, my girlfriend got a dog, and I'm like cuddling with this dog, and I was never really like a dog guy.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And the dog had shit in my bed, and I said, I didn't know it.
Yeah.
Obviously. So I pulled the covers up to like pull over the dog, and it just ran all the shit through my toes. And I was like, and this at the time, like I'm like a big baby then too. I'm like, I see it, and I'm yeah, like I was like I just remember like crab walking on my heels, getting into the shower and being like, like being such a big baby about it. And then I like hated that dog forever.
Yeah, well, I would hate that dog too.
You know what else crazy? I moved into an apartment with that girl, and we were on the 2nd floor, and she used to let the dog like shit on like the balcony.
Yeah, like that's the kind of behavior I'm talking. Like that's fucking sociopathic behavior.
She would like sweep it out like into like the bushes, and then the people like downstairs were getting mad about the shit being in their bushes, and I was like,
rightfully so.
We're being pieces of shit.
Yeah. Fuck.
I can't believe that place that I lived at, Colonial Grands. Like I can't. All the shit that we pulled there, I can't believe that some neighbor didn't come and kill us. Yeah. I can't believe.
I mean, the dog shit, like, to me is, like, unforgivable. If you have a fucking dog, like, that dog shit is your problem, not anyone else's but yours.
This is like a whole different Ryan to go. Yeah. This is a Ryan that I would not want to be friends with nowadays. No compassion for animals.
Yeah.
Just a lunatic, drinking, drugging maniac.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, that's all right. We're all on a journey of growth here.
Fucking shitty Bam Margera that you ordered off of Wish.com, and you got this pile of shit instead. Yeah.
It's like Flam Margera.
Yes. I don't know who was doing it the other day. I think it was my boy Joey at the tavern, but he was doing a great Don Vito impersonation.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That's an impression that doesn't get dusted off all too often.
Yeah. Somebody said that kid, the Rizzler, is going to grow up and be Don Vito.
Oh, is that Costco kid?
I don't know who he is.
I think that's what it is. He's like the fucking part of that Costco family. Did I talk to you about this fucking shit yet? Yeah. I'm pretty sure.
My man Zach's been sending me he's back on track with sending me reels again and shit.
Yeah.
And one of them was
allow him back on social media?
One of them was about the Rizzler.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, funny story about this kid. I heard Pat McAfee talking about him, and I was like, I can't believe that he's talking about the fucking Rizzler on the Pat McAfee show. This is like a Disney brand and shit like this. But to me, the Rizzler is not this little kid who is the Rizzler. In my mind, it's this guy that I've seen on reels before where he dresses up like the Riddler.
Yeah.
Like he's got a suit with like question marks on it. And he like asks people these he's like just preying on, like it's on like chat roulette, which I've never been on, but I assume it just matches you up with like random people.
It's just a bunch of dudes jerking off, isn't it?
And I don't know. I've never been on it before. We should fucking have a live stream and figure out what it's all about.
Yeah. You want to jerk off on it?
Or something maybe. No.
All right.
Dude.
All right. Hey, I was throwing it out there. That's all.
Keep that in mind. I feel like we've talked about that. But anyway. Or maybe it's called like Omegle. Do you know what that is?
I don't know. Like I said,
I remember seeing a thing that says Omegle or something like that on the bottom. But basically, this dude's just preying on this thing. And it's like a minority comes up. And he asks him a riddle. And the answer to the riddle is like a fucking racist joke. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I'm like, this guy's bold. Like, you know what I mean? His face is out. He doesn't have like a Riddler mask on or anything. He just has a coat. Like, you see this guy at the grocery store and be like, that's the guy.
Yeah.
You know, being racist. We got to get him. We got to cancel him.
Yeah.
So that's who I thought the Rizzler was, though. It's like the
Okay.
whole time Pat McAfee's talking about this, I'm going, bro, you're going to get yourself canceled, dude. You can't be talking about the Rizzler. You can't even let Disney know that you know who the Rizzler is, you
Yeah.
know? And then, like, so for like a whole month, I've been operating off of the fact that this guy's name is the Rizzler, and I keep hearing him come up in like pop culture conversations. And I was like, this guy made it being like anti-cancel racist guy. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But it's not him. It's like some little fat kid
I was gonna say, I think it's like the little fat kid
from
who's
like a
the
hot dog
Costco.
eating family.
Yeah, well, it's like this fucking terrible family that, like, you know, you could tell the dad just wanted to be famous his entire life and is now like thrusting his kids into like this. Like,
I think that's
social...
how a lot of these little kids are getting.
Oh, but yeah, I mean it's a
famous,
tale
yeah.
as old as time. You know, it's the same thing with like the fucking the Culkins and shit. You know,
Bro,
what?
you know that John Benet Ramsey is really Katy Perry?
Come on, why? Well, how?
I don't know.
You
She
don't
looks
know?
like it.
Yeah, that's just it. That's the only thing.
She looks like it. They
Nah,
said she has a sacrifice.
That one, I need to watch the documentary because it is always the subject that's interested me. But that one, like, I don't know too much about like the new shit that's come out, but like from what it sounded like when it was going on, like that was definitely the dad and the mom killed that fucking kid.
Well, I think she had
Yeah.
like a brother.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
Oh,
There's like a thing like that with the OJ thing where like the son could have killed her too.
yeah, I remember you saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I mean, it sounded like because like the fucking mom, it was something like she. The fuck was it? I'm gonna fuck it all up. But she did something that was like super shady, and then like when asked about it, she would just refused to answer the question. It was just like, oh, okay, you fucking killed your daughter, like 1,000%. You know, like it was. Yeah.
No, you let the Hollywood elite take your daughter and harvest adrenochrome from her, and then she like proved that she was like one of like the top specimens, and they're like, all right, we're gonna turn you into Katy Perry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds much more logical.
That's probably, yeah. You know, you gotta get with it, bro.
Yeah. I mean, coming from a father of 3, I could tell you right now, I could kill one of my kids.
Nah.
No, I couldn't. Not even the one I don't like.
I'm still ever since you told me that you had to give like the oldest one like the talking to.
Yeah.
Like I'm like I've I don't know why I've thought about this like multiple times. It like pops up in my head about like him going back to the clan of brothers and being like, "Yo, you fucking know about Dad?
Yeah. Dad's kind of fucking crazy, man.
Be like, next time Dad gets mad, like you should listen to him, bro.
Oh,
like I fucking learned some shit today.
No, they know to listen to me when I get mad. I play the I'm like the fucking I scare them like with the moments of just like anger where it's like I'll go from being like super calm to all of a sudden I'll just be fucking like on 10.
Yeah.
So it's like everyone's fucking assholes just like pucker up and they jump 3 feet in the air. I'm good to that. I have my dad voice down. I don't use it too much anymore. Actually, they're good kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forget the comedian that was telling this story, but he's like, yeah, my dad, he told me years later, he's like, he just went around one day just bashing doors, like, take the trash out when I tell you. Bam, like, make sure the dishes are done. Bam, you're disrespecting your mother.
Yeah.
And he's like, years later, he's like, yeah, like, where did this guy new doors? And he's like, oh, I just decided to make the most out of the
There you
situation.
go. Get your money's worth.
Yeah. Like,
No, that was a good
oh,
idea.
that's genius level parenting right there.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I took the oldest to his first Pats game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was a good time. It was cold as fuck. I hate outdoor sporting events, but
Yeah.
yeah, it was fun. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I've been to so many of the coldest games
Yeah.
on Patriots record. Well, not so many, maybe like 3 of them.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I just watched the recap of this game. It's the Wes Welker return to Foxborough as a Bronco,
Okay.
and the Patriots get bombed out
Yeah,
in
I
like the
remember
first
that.
half, and they come back. I
And
think they
Welker had
scored,
like 3 TDs, I think, in that game, didn't he?
well, he also like muffs. He's like the guy that muffs the kickoff or he muffs a punt return or something. The Patriots get the ball.
Okay.
You know, he's really like.
But I think I'm pretty sure he had multiple touchdowns in that game.
But
Yeah.
it ends if he doesn't fucking. The Patriots had to score like 31 unanswered points to come back in that game.
Yeah.
So like if he doesn't fucking fumble that ball, they don't score the points to win the game.
Right,
You know.
yeah.
But I'm at this game. Right. This is the only game where I've ever gone back to my car and been like, let me get that one last layer that I had.
Yeah.
Like I remember like my hands being so close to the fire and being like, how are my hands not burning
Yeah,
right now?
I can't
Like,
even
I don't
feel it.
understand. Like
Yeah.
I kept looking and being like, am I all right? Like, but I got so drunk at that game, right? Like I always did.
Right.
Getting all fucked up at these games, right? I'm fucking watching this shit. I don't remember one fucking play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm in the lower section. Like I think I sat in section 128 when I had that when the family let me in on the season tickets. You know what I mean? I had prime viewing angle, everything. I don't fucking remember anything from this game, dude. Nothing. But to bring it back to your point, like battling the cold like that, I feel like it's only fun if you're drinking.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not fun.
Like,
I'll
it's
tell you
only
right now,
fun.
I didn't have fun, but
Yeah.
my kid wanted to go, and I was happy to do it. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing worse, in my opinion, than going to see a fucking outdoor sporting event in December in New England.
Did he just want to go because he's into football and he wants to spend time with his dad, or is he like a Patriots fan?
No, he's definitely a Lions fan. But even then, like he has like Patriot shit. So I feel like he kind of like plays both sides of it, you know. But
why not? It's always fun to have an AFC and an NFC.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think he cares that much. I think he just wanted to go to a game, you know.
Yeah,
and it was cool. It was a cool game to go to. The Patriots were, they ended up losing. Well, that was just it, though. So going into the game, he's like, in all of his fucking youthful ignorance or whatever, he's like, I hope we see something that's never happened before. Wouldn't that be cool? I'm like, dude, I mean, records don't get broken every fucking week. Like, 1,500 games have been played, and I guarantee you, like, most everything has happened at this point. Like, we're probably, like, I hope something cool happens, but in all likelihood, it's just going to be a football game, right?
Yeah.
So the whole game goes by. It's a pretty good game. Like, the Patriots are up a touchdown going into, like, the last, 9 minutes of the fourth quarter. Richardson throws a pick. So, it's not like the game's over by any stretch of the imagination, but it's like kind of in hand. And I'm like looking around and I'm like, so I turn to Tim. We're both freezing our fucking asses off at this point. And I'm just kind of like, hey, man, just so you know, if we leave right now, we can be back at our house in like 40 minutes flat. But if we wait until the end, it's going to take us an hour and a half just to get out of the fucking parking lot. I'm like, what do you want to do? And he was kind of just like, I'm good. I'm like, all right, because I'm good too. So we fucking left. We were like, we were out of the goddamn parking lot before anyone else was even like started to even think about it. And it was awesome. So, but I'm just like, well, whatever. Let's turn on at the end of the game. Let's see what's going on, So Patriots had punted the ball back to the Colts. Colts had driven the field. Now it's like, fucking, what is that? There was like only like, or they tied it up, and then after that, the Colts were, the Pats had the ball back with the chance to fucking win, right? Because, that's right, the Colts went for 2. So the Pats had the chance to win, and the Pats lined up a 68-yard field goal. And the whole fucking time I'm listening to this shit on the fucking radio like, motherfucker, if this guy hits this 68-yard touchdown, 68-yard field goal, and my fucking dragged my kid out of there right before, like, literally a record-breaking field goal that probably will stand for the next, like, 20 years gets hit, like, I will be so fucking pissed off at myself. And luckily, he was fucking close, though. Did you see that kick?
No.
No, he missed it, but like he was short by like, maybe like 3 feet. And like it was a fucking no good. But it was one of those things where I was like, thank fucking God, dude. I would have been so fucking pissed off at myself for having walked out of that fucking stadium right before what he literally said was going to happen happened, So yeah, would have been just another reason I disappointed my fucking kids. As it were, though, hey, we fucking decided to leave at whatever it was, like 3:52, and I was home by 4:14. It was fucking awesome.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Now, I've only ever left Gillette early once, and it was with my boy.
Yeah, Matt Murph.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I got 2.
Even like during a blowout.
No, we were losing to the Browns, and I was fucking hammered, bro. I think this is like.
I think I know exactly that game. Yeah.
Like the Patriots ended up coming back and winning, but I'm
in that case, never mind.
fucking hammered. Yeah. This is like a time. This is a time where I get fired from Bar Louie in the middle of my scheme that I talk about where I'm like selling my own liquor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now, but I get fired with a heavy dose of inventory. So now I got probably like 5 handles of Tito's and like 6 handles of Jack Daniels. Just like, what am I going to do with all this? You know what I mean? And then, I don't know. I don't remember when Renee and I took our little break, what years that were. But it was definitely around the turmoil of me just thinking I was on top of the world and running all these schemes. And she's like, I'm a normal person. You know what I mean? Like, So, I have all these handles and shit. I might be like a maniac single guy at this point, but it's me and my boy fucking getting annihilated. You know what I mean? And I think I know it, or I'm like falling asleep in the stadium. And maybe Matt is like, yo, we should go. And I disagree with him. And, we're walking down the thing, just probably like you guys. We got the whole fucking segue to ourselves, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just hear the muskets start going off. And I'm like, oh, what are we missing? You know what I mean? This is like before you probably had like the NFL. At best, I probably got a BlackBerry at this time. You know what I mean? So it's like, we don't know what's going on. You get back in the car, you're all like, oh.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's so funny how I'm like too hammered to be at the game, but like a 30-minute walk back to your car. You're like, all right, I'm good to drive home.
Yeah.
Let's get us home safe in my fucking 5-speed multicolored loud car that I'm sure is drawing no attention whatsoever.
Yeah. I mean,
And-
I feel like in that whole area, though, there's like an unsaid kind of thing where it's like the cops are just like, yeah, we know you're fucking all shit-faced. Just get the fuck out of
Yeah.
here, you know?
My boy Matt, who was like my other boy Matt, who we were all friends and pretty tight knit for a while in the industry. He fucking in deadlock traffic. He fell asleep at the wheel.
Oh, shit.
They pulled him up, but he's never displayed crazy man alcoholic genes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he really could go out for just a couple.
Yeah.
You know, and luckily that was it. You know what I mean? He had went out for a couple. They pulled him out of the car and made him go through like all the field sobriety stuff. I don't think they put him through a breathalyzer. You know what I mean? They made him go through all the other stuff, and they're like, all right, get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? But,
Yeah, they had bigger fish to fry, I'm sure.
Yeah, like I think when he told this, I think when he was telling the story, he's like, yeah, I might have been fucked if they breathalyzed me, but you know what I mean? I really was just tired. I just fell asleep from a long day.
Yeah,
You know,
I feel like the breathalyzer is more or less the formality. Like you could blow over the fucking legal limit and not be all that drunk, you know, like pretty easily.
Yeah.
It's like the behavior leading up to the breathalyzer is probably like, I know you're shit faced. Now I'm just gonna put a number on it, you know.
I saw something recently for all you guys that are still drinking out there, helping me pay my bills. That if you if you like gargle with water before you leave the bar, it's like you have like a way better chance of being a breathalyzer test because it's like the stuff is like lingering in your saliva.
Yeah.
So like if you kind of clear your mouth hole,
right?
You know what I mean? You got a lot less chance of like blowing like, you know, all the shit that's in the bottom of your esophagus out.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
There you go, guys.
Keep a case of water in your car and fucking gargle with that shit.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah. I saw some other guy. He sparked a bunch of outrage where he like told a story where he like left the bar purposefully looking wasted,
trying to get pulled over.
Yes,
Yeah.
and he was sober the whole time.
Yeah.
And he said he did it on like New Year's Eve or the day before Thanksgiving or whatever. And I think it was like a Reddit post or something, but somebody had shared it to like social media so you could get to the original post.
Yeah.
And like all of the comments on it are like, I'm a survivor of a DUI that ruined my life. Da, da, da. You know what I mean? Like nobody can have any fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I mean, he's just keeping people on their toes, you know? So wait a minute, he did get pulled over though?
Yeah, he got pulled over and put through the motions and everything.
And
he
then
just
turned
wasted the cops' time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know.
Which I'm a fan. I love wasting cops' time.
I mean, they're getting paid no matter what. They might as well do something.
You ever go down that rabbit hole of those videos where like guys get pulled over on purpose and they're like, I'm not giving you my ID. I haven't committed a crime. Da, da, da.
Yeah.
Like they know like the law by better than the cops do.
Yeah, no, usually I end up watching the ones where it's just like fucking idiot toothless yokels who are just like, I'm not driving, I'm traveling. It's like, that's not a thing. Like
It is a thing.
No, you need to have a fucking license in order to drive a fucking car.
Nah.
Yeah.
No, dude, this is what people who drink tap water of their own accord say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, I think it's a quick way to get your fucking ass clubbed in your car. So
Get your brake lights bashed out
exactly.
by the
I just hand them my fucking information like I'm supposed to, like a good boy, and I just like get off with a warning.
Yeah.
So you guys can all fight the good fight while you're getting the shit beat out of you behind your fucking pickup truck.
I don't know. The second to last time I got pulled over, I think it's still in my drinking days, and I was leaving 10. And I was probably early cut on a Friday, probably fucking way over the legal limit if I did get breathalyzed.
Yep.
And I was like, dude, I'm so fucked right now. I get pulled over, and I was definitely in a situation where I was road raging a little bit. And my whole thing was like, the cop was like, what the fuck were you doing here? And for whatever reason, my car at the time, the thermometer had pegged all the way on like the hot. So my car always looked like it was like overheating.
Yeah.
Like just from the gauges.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I don't know why I was that smart at the time, but I go, dude, I don't know what the hell's wrong with the car. I go, I would never do what you're accusing me of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, look at all the gauges. Like, something's wrong with my car.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I went to shift, something's wrong. And, he like put his head in and looked at it. He goes, oh, all right. And he just like asked me where I was coming from and shit. And I go, I work at 10 Steak and Sushi. I'm just on my way home. He goes, I think you've waited on me before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he just was like, all right. Like, if you think you can drive home, fine. You know what I mean? If not, like, I'll stay here while you call a wrecker or whatever. You know what I mean? I was like, dude, I was like, if it's cool with you, I'm just going to try to limp it home, and
yeah.
I think he kept questioning me too. Oh, you know what happened? He got another call. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Too. We got another
so he probably
call.
was just like, I have better things to do.
And then he was like
good
looking
luck.
at my history, and he's like, what happened the last time that you got pulled over? And I was like, it was for like going the wrong way down a one-way on Federal Hill. You know what I mean? And he's like, all right. And he just like gave me my shit and took off. And I was like, oof.
Yeah, well, that's just it. I feel like most of the time, like if you just like talk to the cop like he's a human being and just like don't be a dick to him, you probably get away with whatever the fuck it is you're trying to get away with. You know?
Yeah, as long as they're not. I don't know. I feel like it's tough to get away with if you're hammered.
Yeah.
Especially nowadays where like they're all on tape and shit now. You know what I mean? Like,
well, maybe that is
you
different.
can't get away with shit now.
Did I ever tell my what should have been my DUI story?
I don't think so.
So I'm at like my buddy's house, and I grew up in the woods, so it's like fucking nobody is out there. It's like it's like a farmland kind of scenario. So we're just like partying up on his farm or whatever, and they're having like a bonfire. We're having some drinks. I'm not getting shit faced like per se, but I'm fucking drunk, for sure. And I'm driving back from his place, like through all of this like rural ass area of Connecticut back to my condo complex, which is like another town over. Like it's the kind of area of Connecticut where like anywhere you're fucking driving is going to take you a half hour, right? So this is a half hour trip all day, maybe even a little more. So at this point, I'm 17. I'm 17. I'm drunk. I'm with my buddy who's fucking annihilated drunk. He has a fucking full bottle, maybe like a 3/4 bottle of Jim Beam with him too. And he has that like under one of the seats, right? But he's like at this point where he's so fucking drunk, he's like, it's starting to give me like a in the back seat. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? The kid who's in my passenger seat is, kind of like on the same level as me, but he's carrying about like a little under a QP. It's like, he has like 3.5 ounces of weed on him, right? Too much. And
I got to stop you at this point, dude. I'm going to piss my pants.
Piss your pants then, man. It's commitment to the story. Feeling better?
Film. Refreshed.
All right. See if I can try and pick this up.
Reset the scene. We're in a car with two other individuals. One of them's drunk enough to be burping up a little bit, causing
the other one,
fear.
And the other one has a lot of fucking pot on him. And it's one of those things where like I didn't know we had that much pot on him. So I have a bottle of booze under one seat. I have this kid in the passenger seat. I have this kid who's about to throw up in my back seat. So the kid in the back seat starts throwing up, and I immediately pull over, and we're on like these country ass roads. Like there's nobody fucking on these roads, but I'm on like a straightaway, like in that street or in that town basically. So I pull his ass out of the car, and I throw him into the middle of the road. Now he's just throwing up in the middle of the road. But it's the area of Connecticut where like it's fucking 2:30 in the morning. Nobody's on these fucking roads. Except I see headlights now on the horizon coming down the straightaway. And I'm just like, fuck. There's only one person who's out on the roads right now. That's fucking cops.
Yeah.
So I get him, I throw him fucking back in the car, and I'm about to fucking put it in drive, and the cop just pulls up right alongside me with the fucking, the
light?
Spotlight on me. So I'm fucked. I'm fucked. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no fucking way. I got puke in my back seat. There's puke all over the middle of the fucking road, and I'm fucked. There's no other way about it. So the cop goes over to the window, and he gets me out of the car, and he's just like, shining his flashlight, and the fucking kid who has puke all over himself in the back seat, and he's like, what the fuck's up with that kid? I'm like, he's had too much to drink, and he's like, well, have you been drinking tonight? And at this point, I'm like not even faking the funk. I'm just like, I've had some to drink. I've had a beer or two. Like, I'm not like drunk or anything. I'm holding my own. Like, I'm a pretty like, I can talk my way out of fucking shit a lot of the times. So I'm kind of just keeping it on the level. And the first cop I get, he's like, he's cool. He's playing the good cop, So he's just like, all right, man, well, I got to do something about this fucking kid in the back of the car. And I'm like, all right, well, I mean, it is what it is. And he's like, well, what do you have in your car? And I'm like, all right, well, under one of the seats, I have, like 3/4 of a bottle of Jim Beam, And meanwhile, they have the other kid who was in the passenger seat in the back of the car now, and they're talking to him, right? I don't know this, but he threw his fucking, because what the fuck else was he going to do with it? He just threw it under the fucking seat. It's like fucking bag. So, and it's probably right next to the fucking bottle of Jim Beam that I just directed this motherfucker right to.
Yeah.
So they fucking have us out of the car. They're looking through the car. They find both things, the fucking bottle of booze and the fucking pot. And I'm like, now I'm really fucked, like I'm going to fucking jail, So now they have us both in the back. Meanwhile, in the interim, again, this is a small town. Nobody has anything fucking better to do. In the interim, another squad car pulls up. Now all of a sudden an ambulance is coming. Then another squad car pulls up. There's like fucking 4 squad cars and an ambulance at this fucking place. And I'm like, I am so fucked. So fucked. They're loading the kid in the back seat into the fucking ambulance. They have me and the other kid now separated, talking to each other, seeing what the fucking stories are. Like, hey, we found this fucking big fucking bag of pot in the fucking car. Whose is it? And I'm just like, I don't know, man. I don't know how it got there. Like, I don't know. And meanwhile, I have now this hard ass cop who's fucking giving me like the 3rd degree, who's just like starting to do like the finger test, like follow my finger, and I'm following it. And obviously, I've had more than 1 or 2 beers. I'm fucking drunk, you know.
Yeah.
And the guy's just like, how many beers have you had tonight? I'm like, 1 or 2, and he's like, 1 or 2 really big beers. I'm like, oh fuck, gee, you know, I want to just be like, just cuff me, dude. Like, stop fucking with me and just cuff me. I'm fucked. I get it. So they put both of us together. Me and the kid in the passenger seat. Mind you, the other kid is already getting fucking hauled off to the fucking ambulance or onto the hospital. And he's just like, whose pot is it? Whoever it is, just admit it, and you're getting arrested. Plain and simple. And to this day, I'll give this kid credit because, like, I wouldn't have ever thought he was the kind of dude who would have done this. Like, he was kind of like a sketchy dude in my life, but he did it. And he was just like, it's mine. And they cuffed him right on the spot. So he's in cuffs. They're putting him in the fucking squad car. My other buddy got hauled off in the ambulance. I'm fucking 17-year-old drunk kid who's driving this car, and I'm just standing by my like driver's side, basically just like waiting to get arrested.
Yeah.
And the first squad car pulls away. The second squad car pulls away. The ambulance is already on its way. The last squad car pulls away, and the last cop standing there is just like, drive safe, have a good night. Like, what? And then before you know it, I'm the only one in this fucking area. Like, all the cars depart. I'm just in the middle of the woods now, just sitting by my car. Like, I guess I thought it was a trap. I was like, am I just going to get back in the car and like they're going to fucking shoot me as I drive by or something? But no, I just got back in the car and drove home. I was like, how the fuck did that just happen? But that's the power of, you know, yes, sir, no, sir, sorry, sir. You know, like, don't be a fucking dick. If you want to get away with shit, don't be a fucking dick.
That's what I meant to say too when I was telling my story. Like my stepdad was always adamant about doing this. Whenever he would get pulled over, he'd take the keys out of his ignition and put them on the dash, and he'd put his papers on the dash, and he would like put his hands on top of the steering wheel like that until like the officer came.
Yeah.
And like I did that when the cop showed up. You know what I mean? And I was just like, I don't know why. I guess it's just like a sign of respect or some shit like that, or maybe it shows that you're from like a fucking law enforcement family or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's possible. Yeah,
but yeah, I just think I did that, and also I didn't bring up either that I had a bunch of weed in my car too, like you know, a bunch of different kinds of weed. So like if you had went through that shit, you would have been like, yo, this is like possession with intent to distribute. Yeah, you know what I mean. So it's like I would have been looking at a DUI and like a selling weed charge.
You would have
you
gotten fucking smacked.
Yeah, my wife would have been thrilled.
Yeah. So the trade-off though was that kid who got fucking arrested. Like from that moment, like he went to jail for like 90 days. It wasn't anything crazy, but then once he got out, he had to fucking like submit to like drug tests and shit. And they were like all the way like 4 towns over. So like I was just like, hey, in exchange for not fucking me over, I'll drive you to all those.
Yeah.
So for like, you know,
I mean that's a solid
like
move on your part, but like all he did was like what he should have done.
Yeah,
you know?
but
like,
you know what though? At that age, in that time, like he didn't have to do that. You know, like you know a bunch of dudes you grew up with who absolutely wouldn't have done that. You know, like or would have dragged me down with them just because like they were too afraid to just like drown themselves. You know, like
I guess
he could have easily done it. All I'm saying is
I think you've had more of an experience with like these like transient sketch balls, I'll label them. You know what I mean? Like I feel like from like the very beginning, like I've had more of like a tight crew.
Yeah.
Where like it was like, no, like these are like I don't have friends, I have brothers.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, I think I've had maybe I've just maintained a tighter, longer lasting, closer knit circle as a child than you did. Because I would think like looking back at like all of our close calls, like when you're saying that, I was like, I don't think a single one of us would have.
Yeah. Would have said that? Yeah.
Yeah. No. Like they would have, everybody would have said that's ours.
Yeah.
Because the situation that happened with that, like my boy got arrested having my weed on him.
Yeah.
And he didn't say anything. And he was even like out on probation.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like at the same time, dude, like I left you my car to like get yourself home.
Yeah.
Like I took a ride home with our friends that also worked at the same spot. And you like got pulled over driving my car wasted. Like you were sober at work when I gave you the keys to my car. So now you're going to get my shit impounded, get yourself arrested. You're my roommate at the time. Now who's paying your bills? And you're going to take me down too? Like I don't know.
I mean,
like, at a certain point, like he knew that this was his fucking problem. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but I mean, he could have not done that. He could have just been like, I don't know, man, it's not my car. I guess this is my buddy's shit. You know?
Nah, like he
because
has
that's
that-
what that kid could have done. That kid could have just been
Yeah.
like, I don't know, man. It's
Yeah,
not my
that's your
fucking
possession.
car.
Possession is
I just fucking took a ride from this fucking kid. I don't know who the fuck he is.
Yeah.
You know, like that's all he had to say, and I would have been fucked. You
But
know,
dude, the way that my boy drank, dude, like
Yeah.
I bet, like I would put a 99% percentile chance on this that by the time he got pulled over and started getting interrogated, he was like so blackout, belligerent, drunk.
he was probably not
that
giving
they
him any
weren't-
information.
Yeah, they
anyway.
weren't able. Yeah,
Yeah.
they weren't able to dissect anything except for possession. Like you have an Altoids tin with like half eighths in it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? On you,
right.
and it's like you're not able to. Like I bet you. You know, I've probably given him the credit all these years for like not saying shit, but I bet you he's just fucking too hammered to say anything.
Yeah, to figure
you know?
out that like all he had to say was like, I don't know, man. It's not my car. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah, another time that same dude, I remember like my other buddy waking me up and being like, "Did you drive your car home last night?" And me being like, "No."
yeah,
You know what I mean? He's like, "Yo, your shit's fucked." I go home. The car had been driven on the rim.
Oh,
like there's
shit.
no tire on the fucking car. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And I'm like, "Holy shit, dude!" Like,
shit's
and
like fucking square.
and my boy's like, before I woke you up, I like traced it. Like he's like, I just wanted to make sure that this didn't happen like in the apartment complex that we all lived in. And he's like, that shit goes all the way out the gate.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like you're in Florida, like you pull into like a gate and it's like this massive like condo complex. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? That's essentially like what we lived in. They just rented them out. And so yeah, he's like, dude, I fucking traced that shit for like, and it like went down like that apartment was right off of like the main road on Bush Boulevard in Tampa.
Yeah.
And it was like in like the part, like all the roads in Tampa have like two names. It's like you go past a certain intersection and they turn into like a different thing. So we lived on Bush Boulevard, which is the hood.
Yeah.
But we lived in like the white part of Bush Boulevard. You know what I
Gotcha.
mean? Like
Yeah.
after it got past the intersection. So I'm like, damn, bro, this shit goes all the way. Because like when you go off the highway from where we worked at, you would go through this patch of like shitty Bush Boulevard. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I was like, damn, bro, like this tire, it has to be like on the highway,
Yeah.
dude. Like it's not even like I don't even know what
So you're
this-
going like fucking 85 on a fucking
I don't know,
completely
dude.
flat
I don't know
tire.
what the fuck he was thinking. And then like we woke him up and we were like, yo, dude, what the fuck? He had like no wreck. Like he comes down, looks at the car, and was like just as surprised as I just was like 20 minutes ago. You know what I mean? Like
what happened
Yeah.
here? It's
Yeah.
like you fucking happened here.
I think I told a story about these kids. They were like the ones, they became best buds, like drinking Jaeger together and stuff.
Yeah.
They were the ones whipping the beer bottles against the other fucking like condo in the apartment complex
Yeah.
and stuff. They were wild men. Wild boys. I remember they had started drinking way before me too. Like I didn't start drinking until I think I was like halfway through my senior year.
Yeah.
And I just remember hearing these stories, like they'd be playing quarters, and they're like, yeah, this kid's so crazy. He like doesn't even try to throw the quarter in there. He just fucking throws it against, you know what I mean? It's just getting wasted.
Yeah.
Overdosing on peach schnapps.
Yeah. Yeah, there's been a few nights getting so fucking drunk off schnapps.
I'm trying to think of another night I went out. I worked a shift, I got cut, and then I went out with this I don't know why I said I used to work with this girl, and then maybe she moved or something, or she came back into town or something. I got cut, and she was at the bar, and we went out for like drinks afterwards and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I'm like driving home, and I couldn't remember where I parked my car, so I like had to have this girl drive me around to find my. Oh no, I couldn't find my car, so I went back to my job, and then my manager, who was my friend at the time, he drove me around to find my car. He was like, yo, are you fucking driving? I was like, nah, dude, I'm gonna take a nap in my back seat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe I laid down. I definitely did try to like sleep it off a little bit.
Yeah.
But definitely didn't like sleep the whole night in my car. And now I'm
Yeah.
driving home, same situation where you're like, there's nobody else on the road
Yeah.
except for cops and this.
Right.
I got pulled over, I think, for not using my turn signal or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
Probably didn't. The guy probably made some shit up just to
Yeah,
pull me over, you know?
Just to figure out
And
what the
he's
guy
like,
was
"You're
doing at
so
4:30 in the morning.
He's like, you're so fucking lucky I don't have my breathalyzer equipment on me right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's like, you'd be fucked. You'd be so fucked. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, man. I'm like, I'm a bartender. I think I just smell like booze from working.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's like, get out of here. Like, I just remember being like, get out of here. And this is a low part of my life, too, where I'm like sleeping on my boy's couch. I'm like in between apartments.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, damn. I almost just got arrested driving back to sleep on my friend's couch. What am I doing with my
I was gonna
life?
say, I think things just went from bad to worse at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was also like at the point in my life where I started dabbling with the 30s as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was all starting to fall apart. Yeah, and I think I leave. Yeah, I get off of sleeping on the couch with that dude, and the apartment that I moved into after that, that's my last apartment in Florida.
Oh, really?
Yeah, after that, my Nana's like, yo,
You got to get the fuck out of here.
you should come home. I'll pay for it.
Yeah. Whatever.
That's what I did.
Good for you that you had that. At least somebody who was just kind of willing to be like, you got to get the fuck out of that entire state. You know.
Yeah. Well, at that point, like my family was like a victim of like that Hurricane Charlie. Like it came through, demolished my hometown. My mom, my stepdad couldn't get back on the same page. I mean, they were probably already on the outs anyway, but that was just like the final straw.
Yeah.
So then my mom and my brother moved back up here. My stepfather, his brothers had moved down and started working construction with him. And my stepfather was like a recovering alcoholic.
Yeah.
His brothers were not.
Right.
So now he's got this negative influence in his life. He's like half divorced.
Drinking again. Yeah.
Yeah, drinking again, being a maniac. His brother, they have like crazy stories. Like my stepdad's upbringing is crazy. Like he told me that from all accounts, like looking back on his life, that he thought his parents were swingers and that they would have these parties, right? And the kids didn't really know what was up, but they used to make the boys, they had like a fight club for the boys.
So
like,
what, his brothers would just beat the shit out of each other?
It wasn't just him and his brothers. It was like the boys of like the other families that they would swing with.
Yeah.
So they would have like a fight club with like the boys of the family.
Yeah.
As like an appetizer. You know what I mean? And they'd put them
and
to
just
bed
get down to cold stone,
lock them in the basement or whatever.
All right.
Yeah, like he had some crazy stories about his upbringing. I don't know how he was like as normal as he was, but
I feel like you hear stories about like the previous generation and like their parents or whatever, and they're fucking wild.
Yeah,
like
dude.
to even consider. My stepfather just dropped this gem on me on Thanksgiving Day.
Armando?
Yeah, Armando.
I want to meet this guy.
Well, so his dad, like he never really talked about his dad all that much, but he was like, you know, I think he was like in the military or something or whatever. Armando, or
The Mexican military?
Yeah, well, my stepfather was in the Mexican military. My stepfather knows like all of like the generals who like run the fucking country right now. And his brother, my uncle Pepe, is like, you know, it's just one of those things where like you just don't ask what Pepe does. Like nobody really knows, and he makes good money though, whatever it is he does. But anyway, so I think his dad was in the military too or something. But his dad was also like, you know, just a kind of a piece of shit. It sounded like he just like left the whole family. But his dad married his mom when his mom was like 14 years old, like one of those things. And he was like a 30-year-old man kind of thing, you know? So he starts his family and then just like literally just like dips and just leaves this like 15-year-old girl to like raise these kids and shit. You know, so fucking, but
that's Armando's upbringing.
Yeah, that's Armando's upbringing. But I'm just thinking to myself, like, dude, that's fucking crazy. Like, could you imagine like just like, first of all, like one generation removed from a period of time where like you was just cool to like marry a 14-year-old, like raise a family and then just like dip out on them, like and just leave them fucking like in the lurches.
You know who's like super excited hearing this story? Carl Malone.
Carl Malone. Yeah. No, but, I mean, that's just how shit went in Mexico.
Yeah.
And that actually is even like I've my cousin, my wife's no, not my wife, my mother's, I don't fucking remember. No, that's what it is. My grandmother's sister is what it is. So it's my second cousins or whatever. Their grandfather, whatever, he had like a whole other fucking family. Like he was like a bigwig with like IBM or something. So he had them on the East Coast, like in Rhode Island, like my great aunt Joan and shit and that whole family. And then he had like a whole other fucking family in California. And they like knew about each other. It was just like, so you just like go there. Like eventually though, my aunt Joan had to be like, you have to choose, Jimmy. And it's like, dude, fucking 1967 and like you're just allowed to have two families? Like what the fuck? Like we've come that far in such a short period of time where like you have to have a discussion with your husband like, I don't think you should be seeing your other family anymore, Jimmy. It's like, Jesus Christ, I can't go out golfing with my friends now. What the fuck, you know?
That dude, that part in Borat when he's like, I must travel to California.
yeah.
Jimmy's like, I feel you.
Yeah, my great uncle Jimmy was a fucking character.
Can you imagine having to navigate life by keeping two women
families
happy?
No, I could not.
What the fuck, dude? Yeah, especially if you have kids.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did. I think
you're
he had
gonna be like emotionally invested in these motherfuckers too. Like Jesus,
he had
Christ.
4 kids on the East Coast. I think he had another 2 on the West.
Dude.
Yeah, who knows what the fuck happened to them?
Yeah,
I don't know. It's fucking wild.
Yeah, like can you imagine like the shit? Even go back to like our like great grandparents.
Well, that's when shit gets really weird.
Yeah,
that's
like,
back when people used to get fucking eaten by rats and shit.
Yeah.
You know, like we're not too far away from like removed from being like fucking straight up starving to death, working in like
gangs of New York
factories. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
you know, like we take a lot of shit for granted now, and fucking to bring it back. Now we have fucking people who don't like the fucking color of the American cheese you put on their shit. It's like, what the fuck are we talking about here, lady? You know.
Dude, I
It's like
would've
120 years ago, you were working in a fucking cannery for like 6 cents an hour, fucking eating moldy bread and shit,
right.
you know?
How long have women even been able to work?
Yeah, well, actually, do you know that story with women working? The radium story? Like, so old watches that used to, like, glow in the dark and shit, it was like a fucking thing where, like, it was incredible for people. Like, oh my God, I can see my watch face in the dark.
Yeah.
Well, the way that fucking happened was that these girls were painting this, like, horrible radioactive material onto it. And what they were doing is, because their brushes would get, like, dried out and shit, they were licking the tips of them and then putting it back in the radioactive material and fucking doing it. So all of these girls ended up, like, you know, losing their fucking jaws and their teeth, and their hair was falling out, and they all died of cancer. It was like the first like class action lawsuit or whatever when it comes to like industrial like conditions and shit. But like all of these girls, they're called the radium girls. They all fucking died, all of them, like because of like this horrible shit. You know, it's like. And now you have people complaining about fucking yellow American cheese.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself.
You're like, rewind the clock 100 more years, and you could have just got away with it and be like, they were witches.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
Somehow they're all witches.
Yep.
We got them.
Well, they made a joke about it because they were just like, you know, anytime they would smile, you could tell a girl who would like worked in that factory because their teeth were all fucking fluorescent colored. And they thought it was the funniest thing ever until their fucking teeth started falling out, you know? So yeah. That whole period of time, though, like, fascinates me. I love that, like late 1800s, early 1900s, that, like, industrial revolution. It's like, to me, that's, like, when human misery and human atrocity was just, like, that was peak right there. Like, we were just the biggest pieces of shit.
Yeah, just throwing people in the trash.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Yep.
I used to have a reoccurring nightmare that I killed a man that I worked with and threw him in the dumpster.
Yeah.
And I would always wake up like, I'm going to get caught for this.
Yeah. No, I have those kinds of dreams where, like, you wake up and you're like, I'm going to jail. And then you're like, I'm not going to jail.
This is like a time of, like, heavy drinking and drugging in my life. And I was like, did I fucking kill that man that I work with that I've been dreaming about? Like, is this real?
That's true, actually, because you do have those moments where you wake up, like, half hungover and you're like, did that happen?
Yeah. Like fuck.
Well, hopefully nothing, hopefully no DNA evidence you know, to link you to it.
This is at a time that place that I worked at is the biggest heist that I ever pulled off.
Oh, yeah? What's that?
Like, I took, like, cases of inventory from this place.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was solid.
Yeah. Just because, or?
It's because I was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, my boy suggested it, and I was like, oh, these guys are idiots. Like, we could really pull this off.
Yeah.
And, like, that's what I did. And it pretty much took, like, a bottle of every kind of alcohol, like, a case of every kind of wine. Like, I had my home bar stocked up for a long time from that place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That actually reminds me, not one of my first jobs, but like one of like my jobs when I was younger, I worked at a liquor store with this like old dude who was the coolest fucking old guy ever. This guy, Danny. He's probably dead by now. But like, I fucking loved working with the guy. The guy was like a funny ball breaker or whatever. But then I went to college at that point, and I like kind of referred some other kid I knew to that job. And I basically was just like, hey man, listen, the pay's not shit. You're working at a liquor store, but the guy's fucking cool. Just fucking work there. And then like that kid fucked me over though, and was like, you know, they basically caught him like pulling fucking racks like out the back door, like just fucking giving them to people. So then I had to kind of just be like, yeah, I'm sorry, that kid's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what my buddy that I worked with that helped me like pull the heist off. Like we split the heist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then like he was more friends with the people that own the restaurant than me. So they like sat him down and like he like sung like a fucking canary. And then he tells me, he's like, yo, like this is what happened. He's like, he wants you to go talk to him. You know what I mean? And I was like, bro, are you a fucking retard? Like, I'm not fucking going to talk to these motherfuckers. Like, they're never going to see me again. Like, what are they going to do? Arrest you and then have you fucking, like, get the fuck out of here, dude. You know what I mean? Like, I'm never, like, if you think that I'm going to, like, go and talk to them because you were too weak to, like,
deny
be like,
till you die.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, get the fuck out of here, dude. Like, I'm just going to say that you made that story up, if anything. You know? Like, the only thing I could, like, I know they didn't have any photo evidence or any surveillance on it. You know what I mean? The only thing that they could do is, like, I feel, I forget where, it was somewhere in North Attleboro that when we drove off at the end of the night, we went and, like, split the inventory up. So it would have been, like, they would have had to have a camera
from there
seeing us doing this activity. But then even then, like, are you going to be able to zoom in and see
Probably
Like, there
not.
was nothing.
Yeah.
There was nothing. I was like, dude, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, nobody's going to be
And then-
fucking pulling warrants to try to arrest two
Yeah.
22-year-olds for stealing booze at the back of a restaurant.
And at that point, I mean, it probably could have been like grand larceny or something. You know, it's probably like a few $1,000s worth of alcohol, but
I mean, was it? Like, how that's a lot of booze.
it was a lot of booze.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking like cases and cases of booze.
I mean, even if you do a case, $12, $30 bottles of alcohol is fucking.
Well, yeah, but 20 years ago you're talking, right? Like, this is what, in your early 20s, you said?
yeah.
I mean, fuck, dude. A case of fucking booze back then, case of Grey Goose in 2006 was like, I don't know, probably like $120, you know? Just saying, that's a lot. You know, you would have had to have done some damage at that place to fucking get larceny.
It's funny that the people that own this restaurant,
Yep.
like they fucking would win an award for most likely to have waffle stomped in their life before.
Oh, really? They're a piece of shit? Fuck them.
No, they weren't pieces of shit.
Yeah.
They were just from an area of the world that I would think waffle stomping would be pretty prevalent.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
I guess if I don't ever say what area of the world I'm talking about, you can't cancel me for it.
It's not racist, I guess. Yeah.
To quote the great Shane Gillis, it's whatever you thought they were in your racist heart when I told the story.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Well, the person who I know waffle stomped was very much a white guy. And let me tell you, when those all dirty hippies are the dirtiest people in the fucking world.
I can only, like, dude, you have to to me, I'm like trying to think about like how this would work out, and there has to be like a designated shoe that you put on. Like you got like the shit stomping shoe next to the tub, and you put that on.
Like a big Timberland boot or something.
I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't get that far. I didn't want to even know the fucking logistics.
Have you ever heard of a poop knife?
So I do. I have heard of a poop knife. Yeah.
How?
Because my youngest son takes shits that you wouldn't even believe. My wife cuts it up with a fucking knife.
So that's crazy. That's what I heard about this story before, that this family had like a poop knife, and it had to be like explained on like a sleepover.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we don't have, so we use we use takeout silverware, so it's disposable.
Yeah.
So we don't have a poop knife per se. But I guess if you want to get technical, once the knife hits the poop, it then becomes a poop knife.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
But I remember I had heard this story about the poop knife or whatever. I don't know, just maybe like a meme or something that I read, you know. And the first time I ever went over our boy Zach's house, he's living with his man from Connecticut.
Yeah.
Finbar.
Yeah.
And so I go in their bathroom, and they have like a long wooden thing like hanging from the wall.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude,
are you chopping up your poops?
do they have a fucking poop knife here,
Yeah.
dude? You know, and honestly, this hangout, the first time we went and hung out, was like the genesis of, I was like, we should do touching tips.
Yeah.
Because like the conversation that me and these two kids had, we were fucking dying laughing the whole time. I was like, yo, we should fucking do this.
We got to get Zach and Finbar on here.
We should.
Yeah.
Dude, Finbar, I feel like he's been on the restaurant journey by himself for a while now. Because Zach like left that house, and then Finbar's cousin moved in with him.
Oh,
and
really?
now I think they're both like, you know, it's like you living with your cousin, you're both like navigating the restaurant world.
Yeah.
But it's funny because Finbar's cousin like looks just like him, just with like a giant set of tits. It's like so fucking funny seeing them together.
So it's a chick?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Unless it's a morbidly obese dude.
She's funny though. She's come into Bodega a couple times when I worked there, and she was a good shit.
Yeah.
But I just remember thinking, I was like, dude, this is just fucking Finbar with big boobs.
Yeah.
What the fuck? This is so fucking hilarious.
No, that's why I love Finbar. I love Zach. They're like my people. They remind me of home. You know?
I think Zach stays
They're like good Naugatuck Valley folk.
I think he stays more in Fall River.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
So I don't know how far away is Fall River from here? Like a half hour?
Yeah, if that.
If that, yeah.
Yeah.
So he can come. We should try to get him on next week.
I would say it's probably even less because Fall River is like south of Cumberland. So, I mean, that's technically closer to here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember walking by some guy.
Never mind. I'm thinking Central Falls. Yeah. Fall River. Yeah. Probably still only a half hour.
Like, I'm probably like leaving Congress after like a shift at 10 or something.
Yeah.
And I'm just, you're just walking back to your car. There's other drunk people in the street doing the same thing. And I just remember hearing this one guy who'll always stick with me, goes, from Fall River to New Bedford.
Yeah.
Fuck it all. Just like anytime somebody says either one of those things, I was like, I remember my guy.
Yeah. I mean, truer words have never been spoken.
I feel like my mom's cousin's husband's like insurance office used to be out that way, and I would have to go out there. This is like when I first moved back, we lived in Mass.
Yep.
And they would be like our insurance agents, and I have to go out there every now and then. I was like, Looks nice.
I had a buddy who grew up in New Bedford, and he was like one of those classic, like the only white guy in town kind of things.
Yeah.
And he said that it's like during like the time when like the Lord of the Rings would come out and shit. And when Lord of the Rings was dropping in movie theaters, like you couldn't get tickets. You know, it was like that kind of event where if you wanted to go to Lord of the Rings opening weekend, like it was fucking impossible. Except for this kid who was just like, dude, I'd go to Lord of the Rings in New Bedford and I'd be like the only fucking person in the whole goddamn. Yeah. But then he would just be like, but try to get tickets to Soul Plane, man. It's just ain't gonna happen. You know, it's like, Jesus Christ, that's hilarious.
I tried to go see Roll Bounce and it was sold out for weeks.
Exactly. Don't even attempt to get into fucking Step It Up. You know?
Oh my God.
So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. You know where I do? I don't know if we talked since I took my old man to the World Series.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh yeah. That was a long time ago now,
right? Yeah. I don't know. But I do remember like fucking driving through New York and being like, how the fuck do people live here?
Oh well,
What
I mean,
the
yeah.
fuck, dude?
Well,
like
Manhattan.
everything is a big ass fucking building.
Yeah.
With no elevators. Like every grocery trip is fucking multiple trips up and down the stairs on public transportation. Every rush hour is like this.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like I used to hate on people like my barber before he got his own shop, he was working underneath this other kid. All he would talk, when I lived in Yonkers, I did. It's like, yo, if you and New York are so fucking cool,
why aren't you there
why
now?
aren't you still together? You know what I mean? Like, I used to not be able to stand that, but now I feel like I'm like, like you just low key don't want to admit that New York
sucks.
is fucking trash.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
well, I mean, New York is awesome if you have fucking money. You know,
I
like if
guess.
you don't have money, it's fucking blows.
yeah, but even if you got fucking mad, well, I guess you just get chauffeured everywhere.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
what it. Yeah, but you're still fucking sitting in traffic and shit.
Yeah, but I
Right?
mean,
Yeah. Like it sucks.
Yeah.
Like I don't think any amount of money could make me be like, look at all this congestion. Well, at least my chauffeur is driving me around.
Right.
I'm just stuck in my limo.
yeah. I don't know though. I mean, like when you get into like Midtown Manhattan and shit, like that's like a fucking like it has no teeth anymore. It like used to be cool and like edgy. Now it's like fucking.
Yeah, I
Disney,
don't know
now it's
anything.
Disney World, you know. But you go to fucking like you go to like Harlem and the Bronx and fucking Brooklyn or Staten Island. Like I mean, even some areas of Brooklyn, but like there's some fucking rough areas. Like you know, a lot of rough areas.
Yo, your girl Diane sent me this fucking thing of how an elephant scratches his tummy, and
Yeah.
he's basically got like full control of his dick. Like he like drops his dick out, and it's like another trunk.
I can't wait to hear how this fucking ties in.
Maybe
But,
it's
all right.
like AI or something like that. You know what I mean? It just like made, you know what I
AI
mean? It's like a
elephant dicks?
Photoshop
Yeah.
like deal or whatever.
Gotcha.
And I said, the first thing I thought of was those guys from Coney Island that are like, hey, yo. You know what I'm talking about? Like if you see these dogs in your front yard
No. What?
and Joe Biden and all, you don't know about the Coney
No.
Island fucking maniacs?
I
There's like-
don't. Yeah.
There's like a guy, he's like a fucking...
Oh, you know what? I think I do know who you're talking about. He has like his
He's
little
like
catchphase
a
thing. where it's
wannabe
like,
rapper slash like
Oh,
comedian.
hey, yeah.
You go, hey, yo. Yeah.
He's like a fucking budget like Dice Clay. Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe like a Puerto Rican Andrew Dice Clay
Right,
from
yeah.
Coney Island or some shit like that.
Yeah.
But like Diane sent me this shit about the elephant dick, and the first thing in my head was like, hey, yo. And it just made me go back. I'd be like, dude, I haven't seen those videos in so long. And I
Yeah.
went on like a half an hour deep dive on like just like, you know what I mean? The
Yeah.
best of this shit. It's just all these maniacs on, like they literally just go out in the street on Coney Island. It's like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? The guy fucking trying to wash your fucking car windshield for money.
Yeah.
And they interview him and stuff.
Yeah.
But
Have you ever seen the dude who's like the mask like guy who's kind of like always pretending to be like a heroin addict walking into places? You seen that guy where he does like the Mass Ave shuffle where he kind of just like has his head slumped. He's just like,
oh yeah, he's like always just like
I'm trying to get a beer at this fucking place. We're sorry, we're right out of Newports, and it's like Jesus Christ, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
it must be. I see some other guy where it's like it will just be like showing some like scenic like Boston kind
Yeah.
of thing, and he's literally just like slumped over.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, he's like half hung over,
but he doesn't
Yeah.
talk. Like he's just kind of like sitting there with like a lit cigarette, like
Yeah.
looking like he's like fucking zonked out on heroin.
Well, he
like,
does like a thing where it's almost like a Travel Channel thing where he'll like go to like local bars and be like, this is a local bar I go to, and then it'll just like show him like fucking like hunched over with the cigarette hanging out of his mouth
and
while,
he's just like
while
kind
people
of
are like
mumbling.
walking around
Yeah,
him.
yeah. I think we're talking about the same
Yeah,
guy.
same thing.
Yeah.
Good old fashioned regional shit, you know?
The girl that I used to do drugs with, I remember one time I went over her house and she had like nodded out while she was like using a vibrator. And I'm
Yeah.
like, get in the house and I'm like, what the hell is that noise? And I get downstairs and she's just like, And the thing's just like fucking sitting on the couch, like
just like shaking around.
Yeah, and I kind of like slammed the door like loud.
Right.
Like I
Trying
went
to
into
announce your presence.
No, I did.
Yeah.
I went into the bathroom, like shut the door loud, and when I came out, she had like got her shit together. I was like, all right, I don't want to deal with the awkwardness that was left of this.
Yeah.
I got to think though that broad probably had a lot to do with me being like, I got to get out of this scene.
I mean, hey, like it all comes full circle here, you know.
That's like the one girl.
She was your Ryan Wilk.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. But the interesting thing is though, is that I think I'm the one that turned her on to snorting pills.
Yeah.
So like at the
So
same
you dragged
time,
her down first. Yeah.
Yeah, like I've always had this thing of like my life would be a lot different if I didn't meet this broad.
Yeah.
And let the she's probably rolling around like
Thinking the
fuck
same
it.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what you get though. Her name was Jolene, and she stole another girl's man.
Damn.
Like I was dating a girl that I worked with, and she became a regular of mine. And she was like, "Oh, you like to do drugs?
Yeah.
I'm a whore. I like to do drugs." And I was like, "I fucking like this girl way better."
Yeah.
This other bro's trying to tell me what to do all the time. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to do that.
Yeah. It's like we might be perfect for each other.
Yeah, I remember one time I got busted talking to her on MySpace.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Did she enter your top 5? Is that what happened?
No, it was like the girl that I was officially dating, I think somehow she got into like my computer or something.
Yeah.
And I was like too stupid to know that there was like a record of messages or some shit.
Yeah.
So, but I was smart enough to be like, oh, fuck. So I like pulled the power cord out from my computer. And then my technology at that point was good enough where I could go onto MySpace and like delete the messages.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So really, I'm like fucking this girl. Wow, you want to hear a dirtbag, top tier dirtbag Ryan Wilkes story, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So I'm fucking this girl, right? She's a hairdresser. She's making all this money. You know what I mean? I'm bartending. She's hairdressing. We got all the money in the world to be doing drugs. I don't know if I convince my girl, but the girl that I'm dating, she's a server, and she's like trying to find the next thing to do, right? And I'm like, yo, I wait on all these hairdressers. Like you are always doing your own hair and shit. Like you should go to school to be a hairdresser. They make all this money. So I basically tell this girl that I'm dating to go be the girl that I'm fucking on the side. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
aspire to be somebody better.
Wow,
like the person I'm having sex with.
Wow, she had like she moved into my house like aggressively.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like at the point where like I just kind of moved home. Now I'm splitting like a first and second floor apartment. It was like a house, but it was like split up, like it had like stairs to go up to like the second floor and shit from outside, you know? So I'm like splitting this thing with my moms and my brother. They live on the first floor together. There's 10 years between me and my brother. So they're still in like their high school story. You know what I mean? I'm upstairs being the dirtbag. And so that girl that I'm dating like aggressively moves in quick because she's got problems at home with her mom or whatever. Right? So now she's like leaving my house every day to go to school to be a hairdresser.
Yeah.
And when she pulls out of my driveway, I get ready to pull out of my driveway to go fuck
the other
a real
girl's house?
hairdresser.
Yeah.
Yeah, to do drugs and fuck this hairdresser instead. And then I don't know how it all comes crashing down. I don't know how I get caught. But
It sounded like on Facebook, no? Or MySpace,
oh, no. So I delete all the messages, right? And she's like, what the? She's like really pressing me about it. And she knew my history. So she's like, I'm going to tell your parents that you have a drug history if you don't tell me what I want to hear. You know what I mean? And I don't know how it works.
Emotional blackmail.
But I was like, yo, So
Yeah.
literally, like, I was like, yo, you're making such a big deal about this. Like, all I did was go get a fucking haircut from her. Like, she's been bugging me to get a haircut from her since I started waiting on her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, all I did was go and get a haircut from her. And she just let it. That was it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So she probably, like, had her suspicions and stuff, but she stopped, like, pressing me after that.
But let me see the stage here. So she's on your computer checking your MySpace, and then out of nowhere you just run up and unplug the shit. Like that's
Yeah,
how
like, I knew that-
That's how you got away with it.
No. This is what happened. She asked to use my computer for something, right?
Yep.
So I log in, turn the computer on, and she hits the back button on the browser.
Yep. Which brings you to the last page.
Which brings her back into like my MySpace conversations with this broad. And I'm like, oh fuck. So like I was close enough to the thing where I just took the power cable out of the wall and just, it's an old computer tower. Like it's easy enough to take like the entire power cord.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now
were you just like, oh my God, and just plugged it?
Yeah, like it was.
So you did get away with it. She was just like, oh, okay, that's obviously some crazy shit I just was not supposed to see, apparently.
And I get maybe she just knew she didn't want to move back into her mom's house enough.
Yeah, probably.
And with all this shit, you know what I mean? She's just like, I just got to let it go.
Something tells me that wasn't quite as
Well,
slick
I
as
think
you
I'd
remember
already
it
like
being.
cheated on her once and like used a condom out of my stash that she had kept a count on, which I didn't know girls do.
Oh, that's fucking
So
wild.
then I think my brother bailed me out by saying I took it. You
Yeah.
know, and I think she knew that was a lie too.
Yeah.
But just
Nobody's fucking you, Jamie.
no, not like he said he took it to like fuck. They did some like YouTube shit with it, like they filled it up with like fucking water or some shit. Like
Gotcha. That tracks.
I don't know. He hooked it up.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I definitely reached out and apologized to the girl that was living at my house at the time after I got sober and got my life together and was like,
She was
I'm
a part
sorry
of the 12 steps.
for being a giant. Yeah, but I never really bought into the 12 steps. But I did at a certain point, it did click where I was like, yo, like there are certain people that I would
Probably
like to
deserve an apology
make
of some
good.
sort.
Yeah, I thought I literally really felt compelled to give this girl an apology. So I did give her an apology and she was happy to hear from me and wish me well and everything like that. And but the one broad that I'm like she's like the last one. You know what I mean? Everybody else I've like former friends, acquaintances, like anybody that I could like be like, yo, my bad about who I used to be.
Yeah.
But old Jolene, haven't crossed that bridge.
Gotcha. She deserved everything she got, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know. You know, it's also crazy. What I think was like, it wasn't even drugs that was like my final straw. She was trying to get me to do some suspect ass shit in the bedroom. And I was like, I am getting the fuck out of here. Like,
I don't want things in my ass.
No, it wasn't even the ass. What do they call that shit? It's in Clerks, like snowballing or some shit.
Oh, where she like spits it back into your mouth?
Yeah. And like she just kept like
some dudes are into that. I
like,
don't get
bro,
it.
she literally asked me like like in Talladega Nights.
Yeah.
When who's the second place guy in that movie? I forget his name.
Oh, John C. O'Reilly?
He's like, what if like one time though, like I shoot forward and I win. You know what I mean? Like asking him like that, knowing that he was gonna be like, hell no. You know? And she's like, just like, you know, maybe like one time. And like I remember her like explaining it, and I must have been like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, I just remember, like, I don't even think I gave her, like, a terrible reaction to it, but just in my mind where I was like, yo, pack all your stuff up and get the fuck out of here, bro.
Yeah.
You gotta go. You gotta go.
To me, it's just like, I'm not going to kink shame anybody, but at the same time, it's like, it definitely wouldn't be my favorite thing if I had to do it, you know?
Yeah, I can't. And, like,
I don't even like eating oysters, let alone my own cum.
Like, but like I feel like every now, like I'm a sucker for like scrolling the people you may know while I'm taking a shit, and I feel like every now and then she'll come up and like her pictures like with her man's, and I'm like, damn, that poor bastard he's definitely doing
his own
it.
cum. Yeah,
he's doing it.
That's actually I gotta go after this note, but the funny thing about Facebook and shit is always like kind of scrolling back at like seeing like the random like, oh, add a friend, and then seeing the girl and being like, you got double teamed by like 2 of my buddies and now you're married with 3 kids.
Yeah.
Like, I bet you $1,000. Like, how does that just go away inside of you? Like, how do you just go from like just basically being like, I'm a absolute whore who's just going to get like, you know, fucking Eiffel Towered by 2 dudes. And now all of a sudden I'm just like a mom with like 2 kids.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, man. You're still into dark shit. I guarantee it. You know? There's no fucking way that guy isn't getting the fuck cheated on him, you know?
Yeah, I worked with this girl one time that told me she let like 2 hockey players Eiffel Tower her, and I wasn't like familiar with the term at the time. And then later on, I became familiar with the term at the time, and I wanted to be like, yo, don't just tell people that in crossing.
Yeah,
you know? You're gonna
that should be something you reveal like months down the road.
Never.
Of knowing somebody.
Like you're gonna meet your husband one day by accident. You already told him the worst thing you could tell him is you'd be like, well, now she's off the list.
Yeah, pretty much. Yep.
Woof.
Yeah. Teach their own, though, you know? We all have to get through our days some way.
Yeah, I guess.
Getting double teamed is just one other way to do it, you know? God bless to all you ladies out there.
God bless.
Yeah. All right. On that note, we got to go.
Yeah. Like, share, subscribe.
Yeah.
Hook it up.
All right. Later, guys.